Hello and welcome back to Wishing You Well, the podcast where we find simple strategies to improve our health so that we can live longer, stronger, and better lives. I'm your host, Health Coach Maria Patrick, and as always, I'm so very glad that you're here with me. Today we're talking about something refreshingly simple in a world that often makes health feel complicated, expensive, or overwhelming. I got this idea from a book that I recently read. It's called Notes on Becoming a Man by Scott Galloway. And Scott Galloway, in his book, talks about a framework for health that he calls SCAFA. SCAFA stands for sweat, clean eating, abstinence, family, and affection. S.C.A.F.A. So this framework, popularized by Scott Galloway, is the reason for us gathering together today. What I love about this framework is that it's not about doing anything major. It's not about biohacking or adding in a bunch more supplements or striving for perfection. It's about our daily choices, our behaviors that we can use to consistently derail our health or improve it. And his approach is going to help us improve our physical health, our mental health, and emotional resilience. So today I'm going to walk you through each pillar of Scott Galloway's SCAFA, and most importantly, how to realistically implement these ideas into your own life without extremes, without burning out, without guilt. Let's start with the first one, sweat. Moving your body on purpose. This is not about punishing workouts or forcing yourself into a routine that you hate. Sweat simply means regular physical exertion, moving your body enough to challenge your heart, your muscles, and your breath. When your body sweats, your cardiovascular health will improve. Your blood sugar will get regulated. You're going to reduce your anxiety and depression. You're going to improve your sleep. It's going to help you age with strength and independence. The key here is not intensity, it's consistency. In order to implement this sweat theory in your real life, you're going to want to aim for 20 to 30 minutes a day, most days of the week. You'll want to choose a movement that you're actually going to do. Walking, dancing, swimming, biking, strength training, qigong. If time is tight for you, break it up. Do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at your lunchtime, and 10 minutes in the evening. You'll have to ask yourself, what kind of movement would support my body today? Some days, that's going to be a brisk walk. Other days, it'll be gentle stretching or some type of mindful movement. Sweat is about honoring your body, not fighting it. Second is clean eating. It's simpler than we think. It doesn't mean diet. It doesn't mean restriction. It definitely doesn't mean perfection. Clean eating simply means eating fewer ultra-processed foods, eating more whole, recognizable ingredients, eating in a way that supports stable energy and your metabolic health. There are simple, practical ways to implement Scott Galloway's principle of clean eating. You're going to want to build your meals not around junk, obviously. Build them around protein, fiber, healthy fats. You can do this by beginning to shop the perimeter of the grocery store for most of your shopping. That's where all of the good, healthy, whole foods are found. When you're on those interior aisles, read the labels. Look for the ingredients. A shorter list of ingredients, by the way, is usually better. And then when you do sit down to eat these whole foods, you're going to want to eat slowly, and you're going to want to stop when you're satisfied, not to the point where you've stuffed yourself. A mindset shift could help us with this. Don't ask yourself, what should I cut out? Ask yourself, What can I add in that will nourish me? That will be more vegetables, more fruits, more whole foods, and most definitely more hydration. Clean eating is not about moralizing our food. It's about fueling your body so that your body can show up for your life. The third in SCAFA is abstinence, creating boundaries that protect your health. This third pillar is often the most misunderstood. It doesn't mean total elimination forever. It means working towards creating healthy boundaries around the behaviors that harm your health, whether it's your physical or your mental or both. This can include alcohol, drugs, excessive sugar, overworking, compulsive scrolling. I mention this a lot. Anything that you use to numb yourself rather than to heal yourself. How do we do this? You're going to want to practice this gently. Take intentional breaks. Dry January, for instance, is something that's really caught on the last couple of years. Perhaps you designate a period of time that you create as dry for yourself, alcohol-free. Maybe you'll go on a social media fast. How about starting with a screen-free evening, even a screen-free hour or two? Notice how your body feels without the habit. Try to replace that habit. Don't just remove it. Replace it with something else. If your nightly habit is frozen ice cream, which we know can be comforting, but not fueling your body with nutrients, don't just remove that. Replace it with something else. Replace it with a healthy alternative. My new thing is that I take Greek yogurt. I add in my clean, organic protein powder, any flavor of choice. I add in some nuts, a tiny bit of honey or maple syrup. I mix it up really well. I put that in the freezer, and I trick myself into thinking that that's my ice cream for the night. Notice how you feel when you make a change like the one that I just suggested. Ask yourself, is it just distracting me in the short term, or is this going to help me feel better in the long term? I think we know the answer to that question. Abstinence is not about deprivation. It's about making an act of self-respect for yourself, for doing something today that you will thank yourself for in the future. The fourth is family. Whether it's your biological family or your chosen family, it matters. We are wired for connection. If you're a regular listener, you've heard me say this in other episodes. Isolation is one of the strongest predictors of poor health outcomes. Strong relationships are one of the best predictors of longevity. In the areas of the world where people live the longest, they pride themselves on their social circles, their strong connection with family and friends. Family provides us with emotional regulation, a sense of accountability, a sense of belonging, and support in good times and when we really need it the most during times of illness and stress. This might not be easy to do. Again, this is why I said chosen family, because this might not be necessary. It might not have the ability to do this easily with your biological family, but you're going to want to use strategies and ways to strengthen those family connections, like scheduling regular check-ins, trying to schedule in shared meal times, putting your phones away during conversations. I was out to dinner with my son just last night, and we never once thought about taking out our phones. It's kind of a family rule that we have. We'll actually ask each other if we're going to look up something that we're talking about. Is it okay if I take out my phone? But what surprised us is how many people around us were not looking at each other, not talking, but just each and every person at the table had their phone out and they were simultaneously scrolling through their phones. Repair relationships whenever you can, whenever that's possible. But at the same time, honor boundaries when they're needed. Invest time in your people. Your family doesn't have to be perfect in order for it to provide you with meaningful connection. And connection is going to be your medicine. And the last of SCAFA, the last A, is for affection, the underrated health tool. Affection includes hugs and touch and kind words and emotional intimacy and feeling seen and appreciated. Affection lowers our stress hormones, improves our immune function, and supports our emotional well-being. There are ways that we can invite more affection into our lives. We can hug the people we love as often as we can. We can practice self-affection. We can put a hand on our heart. We can have gentle, soft self-talk with ourselves. We can find and adopt an expression, a habit of gratitude, of showing appreciation daily, regularly. If physical affection isn't available to you, seek emotional warmth through community and friendship, because affection reminds your nervous system that you are safe, that you are connected, and you are belonging. What makes Scott Galloway's SCAFA so powerful is not that it's revolutionary, it's that it's reliable. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You can start with one of his principles, one of his pillars. You can add in movement. You can clean up one meal a week. You can set one boundary. You can reach out to one person. You can offer one moment of affection. Health isn't built in dramatic transformations. It's built in the daily acts of care. If today's episode resonated with you in any way, I invite you to ask yourself, which part of SCAFA do I need most right now? And then take one small step. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone you care about. And I would be so grateful if you would leave me a review. It truly helps the podcast to grow. Until next time, I'm Health Coach Maria Patrick, and I am wishing you well.